All right, Guardians, strap in. Destiny 2's Revenant episode is almost here, and you know what that means. It's time for another deep dive.
Time to crack open the TWID and see what Bungie's been cooking.
You already know it. And let me tell you, this week's blog post is a big one. They weren't kidding about those massive reveals they promised. But don't worry.
We're here to sift through all the info and give you the need to know so you can jump into Revenant prepped and ready to dominate.
Exactly. And speaking of dominating, we got to start with the thing that has the entire Destiny community losing their minds. Codename, Frontiers.
Yeah, those little teasers Bungie's been dropping have been driving everyone crazy.
No kidding. The speculation is running wild. Thankfully, we won't have to wait too much longer to see what's actually coming with it.
Right. Bungie confirmed we're getting a whole Div Insights dedicated to Frontiers next week. Mark your calendars, Guardians, because this one's going to be huge.
Oh, I am so there. But while we're waiting with bated breath, how about some loot to keep our spirits high?
Can't go wrong with some loot, especially with the Nightfall weapon drop rate increases coming with Revenant.
Oh yeah, those are gonna be sweet. Especially for anyone brave enough to tackle Master Difficulty Nightfalls,
Right,
right?
absolutely. We're talking guaranteed drops on platinum completion.
Okay, hold up. Gotta make sure everyone's on the same page here. Platinum completions, guaranteed drops. What does all that mean for someone who might be a little rusty with their Nightfalls?
You got it. So platinum completions, that's basically showing the Nightfall who's boss. You're not just finishing it, you're doing it fast, clean, and without losing any guardians along the way.
AKA, you're a legend.
Pretty much. And the guaranteed drop part. That means if you hit that platinum rank, you are 100% guaranteed to walk away with a Nightfall weapon.
No more RNG shenanigans.
Exactly. You want that shiny new hand cannon everyone's raving about, you strategize your run, go for platinum, and boom, it's yours.
Love it. Efficiency and loot. What more could you ask for? Actually, you know what? While we're on the topic of loot and efficiency Adept weapons, they're getting some attention too, right?
You bet. We're seeing slightly better drop rates for gold completions, but if you really want those Adept versions, platinum is still the way to go. Plus, we can't forget about the focusing system revamp.
Oh, right. That was a long time coming.
It was, and it sounds like they've really streamlined the process, which is great news for anyone who likes to target specific loot.
Okay, so how's it going to work now?
So instead of the old system, you'll find the weekly featured Nightfall weapons in a dedicated featured category right there in Zavala's inventory. To focus a regular version, you'll need one Vanguard Enneagram and a Nightfall Cipher. And if you're going for the Adept version,
Hit me with it.
one Enneagram, 50,000 Glimmer, and 10 Ciphers.
10 ciphers. Yikes, that's a bit steep, isn't it?
It does sound like a lot up front, but keep in mind, this new system gives you a direct path to the Adept weapon. No more hoping for the best and potentially wasting resources. You're basically investing in a guaranteed outcome.
True, true. I like that. Guaranteed loot for my grind. Speaking of which, remember how much that used to suck having to wait a whole season before we could farm those Lost Sector weapons?
Oh yeah, the ones with the specific perks and stats. The wait was brutal.
Well, good news. The wait is over. With Revenant, we can start farming those bad boys right from the get-go.
No more twiddling your thumbs while the perfect roll sits just out of reach.
Talk about a win. And to make our lives even easier, Bungie's actually given us a weapon rotation schedule for the entire season.
Organization and efficiency. Bungie really hurt us this time.
No kidding. Knowing my luck, though, the weapon I want will be available on the one day I can't play.
That's what we're here for, to help you stay ahead of the game. Speaking of which, while you're pulling that up, we should probably talk about the other big change coming with Revenant. One that has some Guardians sweating a bit.
Oh, you mean the return of power level increases? Yeah, that announcement definitely sent a ripple through the community. Time to grind those pinnacles again.
That's right. The steady climb to power is back on the menu. But before you start panicking about being underleveled, there's a twist this time around. We're going back to the classic 10 power level increases for each of the power bands.
Wait, 10? Does that mean?
I see that thought bubble forming. But don't worry, Fireteam Power is still in effect.
Okay, phew. I thought I was going to have to spend the next month grinding just to catch up.
Nope, you're safe there. Think of these 10 increases as more of an optional path for those hardcore Guardians who really want to min-max their power level. For everyone else, Fireteam Power will keep things nice and balanced.
All right, that makes a lot more sense. So for those who want that extra edge, they can grind it out, but for the rest of us, it's business as usual.
You got it. Now, speaking of big changes that might require a bit of a learning curve,
Oh boy, here we go. You can't just mention big changes without telling me you're about to unleash the Kraken on the Titan
Well,
class.
you know what they say, prepare for the Titanic shift. Because Bungie is not holding back with this rework.
All right. All right, you got me. Hit me with it. What kind of earth-shattering changes are we talking about here? What's the core concept?
In a nutshell, Titans are becoming masters of aggro.
Aggro, you mean like
Yeah,
intentionally drawing enemy fire?
exactly. They're stepping up as the true frontline tanks of destiny.
Oh, this is going to be good. I can already see it now, a whole fire team huddled behind a Titan, using them as a personal fortress.
That's the general idea. And the crux of this whole aggro control thing revolves around, drumroll please, is the Barricade.
Wait, seriously? The Barricade? How are they going to make that into an aggro magnet?
Oh, just you wait. Standing behind your barricade will now actually taunt enemies within range.
Get out. Are you serious? So I can just plop down a wall, hunker down, and have the entire enemy horde come knocking.
That's the plan.
Oh man, the plays you could make in Crucible. Baiting opponents into a trap, shutting down choke points.
I know, right? But, and this is a big but, remember that enemies aren't completely mindless. The AI has gotten a lot smarter over the years.
So you're saying a well-placed barricade isn't going to suddenly turn a raid boss into a lovable puppy dog?
Not quite. They'll still react to threats, prioritize targets based on range and damage output, that sort of thing.
All right, fair enough. Got to keep it realistic. But still, being able to direct enemy attention like that, that's a game changer. Although, if we're going to be drawing all this aggro, we'll need the survivability to match, right?
Don't worry, Bungie's got us covered. Both Towering and Rally Barricades are getting a whopping 50% damage reduction from all non-boss enemies.
50%. Okay, now that's a wall I can get behind.
And for those taking cover behind the Titan, they're getting a sweet 60% splash damage reduction.
Nice. It's going to be the Titan's friend. But what about Unbreakable? Any changes to our favorite shield?
You bet. Locking damage with Unbreakable will now generate grenade energy.
Yes. So not only are we unkillable, but we can also spam grenades like there's no tomorrow.
Exactly. Plus, they've increased the duration you can hold the shield up.
Okay, that's getting unfair. There's got to be a catch, right?
Well, there is a small trade-off. While you're holding Unbreakable, getting shot will slow you down a bit.
A small price to pay for near invincibility. But hold on, we haven't even touched on the subclass changes yet. They buffed the Void Overshield in PCE, right?
They did, and it's a big one. We're talking a 70% damage resistance.
70%. Now that's some serious tankiness. But wait, there's more, isn't there? Don't tell me they stopped at the core abilities.
Oh no, they went all out. We've got changes to Consecration, Diamond Lance, Knockout. You name it, they've probably tweaked it.
All right, lay it on me. What are the highlights?
Well, for starters, both Consecration and Diamond Lance slams can now shatter stasis crystals.
Ooh, satisfying and practical. I like it. But what about Diamond Lance itself? Any changes there?
Actually, yes, and it's something players have been asking for. You can now see the timer for how long your Diamond Lance will stay planted.
Finally. No more guessing and hoping for the best. Speaking of which, did our frosty friends over in the Stasis subclass get any love?
You know it. Shiver Strike got a nice little upgrade. It now attaches a stasis explosive to enemies on impact, which then detonates to slow and freeze anyone nearby.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
That's going to make those close quarters engagements even more chaotic.
And to make things even better, they reduced the cooldown on the facet of command aspect.
More ability spam. Bungie is really spoiling us this time around.
And to top it all off, they buffed the Titan's unpowered melee.
No way. So now Titans punch even harder.
Indeed they do. We're talking a straight-up damage increase across the board.
As it should be. Titans are the kings and queens of melee after all. But while we're busy celebrating our newfound power, we should probably spare a thought for the other classes. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about our Warlock and Hunter brethren. So, while the Titans are busy building their barricade forts, what's new in the world of space magic and stealthy takedowns?
Well, it seems Bungie decided that survivability was the name of the game for Warlocks and Hunters this time around, specifically for those who like to make the most of their roaming supers.
Ooh, because, let's be real, sometimes popping your super feels like painting a giant target on your back.
Tell me about it. But with this update, we're seeing some significant boosts to the damage resistance of several roaming supers. Storm Trance, Chaos Reach, Nova Warp.
Yes. Finally. No more getting instantly vaporized the second my super activates. But did they just stop at making them tougher? Any fun new tweaks to how they actually play?
Actually, yes. Remember those annoying issues with Chaos Reach's Jolt ability?
Oh, you mean where it wouldn't activate properly at higher frame rates? Yeah, that was driving me crazy.
Well, good news. Those bugs have been squashed. Chaos Reach should feel much smoother and more responsive now, even on those high-end setups.
Music to my ears. It's about time those space magic repairs came in handy.
So,
But I'm sure Chaos Reach wasn't the only ability to get some love. What about our hunter friends?
well, for the hunters, it seems like Bungie decided to focus on a few key areas. First up, we've got a damage boost for both the Marksman and Deadshot Golden Gun variants in PvE.
Finally, Golden Gun could always use a little more punch in PvE. What about Spectral Blades? Anything for my stealthy brethren.
You bet. Spectral Blades got some love too. We're talking a damage increase across the board and a nice little survivability buff while in Super.
All right, now that's what I'm talking about. It always felt like Spectral Blades was lagging a bit behind some of the other Hunter Supers in PvE.
I hear you. But speaking of things lagging behind, how do you feel about Lightning Surge these days?
Ooh, Lightning Surge. It has potential, but it always felt a little clunky to use. Did they make any changes there?
They did, and it's a big one. Casting Lightning Surge now grants you the amplified buff.
Wait, really? So, on top of the increased movement speed and chain lightning, we're also getting that weapon handling and reload speed boost.
You got it. It's all about synergy, baby.
Oh, that's going to be deadly.
Yeah.
Stacking all those buffs together. I can already see the montages in my head.
See, every class got something fun to play with this time around. Oh, but I almost forgot. There's one more change we need to talk about, and this one's for all you hunter mains out there. Combination Blow got a bit of an adjustment.
Combination blow. You mean the go-to for aggressive melee hunters? What do they do?
Well, the good news is they removed the cooldown period between heals. The trade-off. It heals for less overall now.
Interesting. So left burst healing, more consistent regen.
Exactly. It seems like they're trying to strike a balance, preventing it from being too dominant in PvP while still keeping it a viable option for those who like to get up close and personal.
Makes sense. It wouldn't be a Destiny update without a few balance tweaks here and there. But you know what? I gotta say, looking at all these changes for Titans, Hunters, Warlocks, Bungie, really outdid themselves this time around.
Right. They really listened to the community and delivered a fantastic mix of quality of life improvements, balance changes, and those big, impactful reworks that shake up the meta. I can't wait to see what kind of crazy builds and strategies people come up with.
Me neither. The possibilities seem endless. But we want to hear from you too, Guardians. What are your thoughts on the Revenant episode? What changes have you most excited? Head over to our social media platform and let us know. Until next time, Guardians, stay frosty and get ready to unleash hell.